Hello, all. I'm here live with one of my most favorite people in the world, Christina Suter. We've known each other for years. She is who I go to when I have problems.
Mostly real estate problems. Sometimes it expands beyond that. Sure, absolutely.
I'm just going to say she's a trusted source. But you know what? We're talking here today because there is so much going on in the economy, right? There's inflation happening. There is interest rates changing. And, if you're an investor out there like I am, like she is, you have to keep abreast of the economy to figure out how to make your smart moves. Like I think it's your ideology, and I know it is mine, that, there's always ways to invest. Because there's always a strategy for every economic, situation. But what is the economic situation is a little screwy.
What is the economic situation? That's a really good question.
Well, we'll discuss in detail next week.
We will discuss it in detail because there's no way we can discuss that as a question in this time frame. There's no.
All right. So just give us some ideas of your thoughts. Have you ever lived through anything like this? Or, what are your thoughts on this?
Okay. So of course we both have lived through something like this because 2007, 8, and 9, we lived through that. And that was all kinds of words I'm not going to say on a Facebook Live. So just going to keep that to myself. My running joke is, because this is how I became so passionate about the economy, my running joke is who got the memo in their mailbox from the economy saying, hey, by the way, I'm about to dump out, so maybe you want to change your investment strategy? Like, I didn't get the memo. I know there are some people who felt that they did. There were some people who were listening to Robert Campbell or Bruce Norris, or like some of the sources we go to, like the Anderson School of Business, right? And we go to UCLA. There are different places that were suggesting it, but what does it really mean? And how does it apply to you? Like, the economy is going to move. How does that apply to real estate? How does that apply to you? How does it apply to the asset you're holding? Because that's part of how it applies to you, is the assets. And that's what's complicated about this particular one, is the assets themselves are being subdivided, in my opinion. What I think we're going to see is that certain assets are going to perform better than other assets during this upcoming. Yes, I'm going to suggest there's going to be a softening or even maybe a recession in the next 18 months to 2 years. That's only
asset specific.
Huh?
It might be asset specific.
It's going to be, and it's going to, no, I'm almost certain it's going to be asset specific.
Oh, okay. Well,
I'm going to be that ballsy to say I think it's going to be asset specific.
Okay, so I think that's amazing, because that is a huge teaser. Hello, people out there. Do you want to know what assets to hold and which assets to get rid of? You need to join us next week, because I need to know what assets to hold and what assets to get rid of. And I think this is really interesting, because obviously in real estate, there's such a wide range of things you can invest in. I mean, just in my investing, I know, you've done even a lot more than I have, single family, multifamily, development, flipping, storage units, right? Notes. Like, there's so many different ways to invest. There's always a strategy that's going to make you some money.
Commercial, retail, strip malls, Class A, Class C, office. There are other things that even you and I have never had the privilege to do, because real estate is so vast.
She's teasing us now. Yeah, exactly. And so, what do we hold on to? Where is it that we can invest to really, take advantage of whatever market is going to be coming up? I think it's really important as individual investors. Right? As individual investors, there's a lot to choose from. Choose wisely.
Yes. Yes.
So,
what you didn't let me go into my assets, so I'm waiting for.
Yeah, okay, no, go into your assets.
Okay, I'll just talk about one. Okay, so my favorite, and what I've invested in the most is residential. It's what I know the best. It's what a lot of us as I call us mom and pop investors. Right? To point the finger at ourselves, because that's what we are, right? As mom and pop investors, a lot of us either start in residential or stay in residential our whole investment career. I've done hard money notes, on residential, right? I have done private equity on residential. I have flipped residential. I have owned residential. I've done long-term rents, short-term rentals on residential, single doors, 30 doors, all residential. I've wrapped a lot of my portfolio around my depth of knowledge in residential, making it kind of like I'm a one-trick pony, but I come at it from so many different perspectives that hopefully there's a way to make it work both in the time frame, like what's happening in the economy, but also my time frame. Like I'm over 50 now. I don't want to flip anymore. I am so done with flipping. Oh my God. I cannot tell you loudly enough.
I just have to tell you, as two women over 50, it's more like I'm over 50 now. I get to do whatever I want.
I'm still going to make money. Thank you very much. Thank goodness for real estate. So residential is my favorite. So when we look at a potential upcoming downturn having to do with the yield curve, we'll talk about inflation, how the yield curve is going to create this, but the inflation rate might create that, and how this might have a particular nuance to it. We're not going to see a huge dump out. We might see, yes, I'm going to dare say stagflation. I'm going to dare to say it. I'm just saying. We might see some stagflation. Residential is going to have its own trajectory. And there's a reason why residential will have its own trajectory, having to do with sub-segments, having to do with pressures that are specifically on residential right now. And it might be affected by regional effects as well, because of course, you can't ever really talk just macroeconomics without some point going, okay, my asset is in Indianapolis. I'm in Indianapolis. I've got doors in Indianapolis. What does it mean to me in Indianapolis? I own residential doors that are rentals, short-term in Indianapolis. What is that going to mean to me? And that's when it becomes really personal to your portfolio.
Okay, first of all, I just want to say, for anybody out there who is just starting to look at the economy, one of the reasons that we put on these events is so that you understand what the, stagflation means, just the definitions of these words that people are using, the yield curve, right? What does all this mean? And what does it mean to you specifically so that you can make really good choices? I'm getting goosebumps because I love it when you talk economics to me.
Anytime, sweetheart. I'm happy to discuss economics with you anytime.
All right. So, ladies, if you're out there and you really want to know how to make some wise decisions and what assets to hold on to and what to let go of, join us next week. We're not only going to be talking economics, getting our goosebumps on, but we're also going to just be having some fun.
Yes, I promise to be ridiculous and potentially irreverent. I'm just saying.
I love that about you.
The blue hair, shouldn't it give it away? Like, I mean, come on. Like, am I not blue enough? Am I not blue enough? I think I'm blue enough, don't you think?
Blue. Anyway. So hopefully we'll see you next week. If you have any questions, put them in the chat. Go to renmonthlymeeting.com to sign up. It's $10. If you're a REN member, we get that extra half an hour one-on-one with Christina to ask her questions about our assets, our personal assets. So make sure you join us. If you're interested in membership, go to www.joinren.com. Christina, I so look forward to seeing you next week and hearing all about